Hey everyone, welcome back to Supreme Catholic Meme. Today we're diving into the theological heavyweight championship of the millennium. Catholics versus Orthodox. Both traditions are like the original Christian tag teams, ancient, rich, and beautiful. But spoiler alert, Catholicism's got the championship belt, and I'll show you why. Get ready for scripture, church history, and some spicy memes. Let's dive in faster than Peter into the Sea of Galilee. 1. Scandals, the Everyone's Got Issues department. First up, let's address the elephant in the sanctuary scandals. Yeah, that awkward moment when people say, I'm leaving the Catholic Church because of scandals. Time for some real talk with a side of truth bombs. Look, scandals in the church are like that relative at Thanksgiving who brings up politics, painful, uncomfortable, and nobody wants to deal with it. But here's the reality check. These issues aren't a Catholic exclusive membership benefit. Studies show similar problems pop up everywhere. Protestant churches, public schools, youth organizations, and yes, even Orthodox communities. Human failure is basically the world's most unwanted subscription service, and everyone's got an account. But the Catholic Church seems to have more scandals. I hear you typing in the comments. Here's the thing. We're just bigger and more centralized. So our dirty laundry gets premium news coverage. It's like how McDonald's get more press for a food safety issue than your local burger joint. More visibility doesn't mean more problems, it means more reporting. Leaving the church over scandals is like unfriending your whole family because your uncle keep posting cringe on Facebook, or quitting the gym because some members don't wipe down the equipment. Not the solution, folks. Christ didn't say when the going get tough, the tough go church shopping. And let's talk solutions, because that's where the rubber meets the road. The Catholic Church, despite its human flaws, has something crucial: accountability structure. Sure, it's not perfect. What is besides God and pizza? But having a centralized authority means we can implement worldwide reforms. Try doing that with thousands of independent churches. Remember that time Jesus picked Judas? He knew what he was doing. If Jesus didn't abandon ship when one of his hand-picked apostles went rogue, maybe we shouldn't jump overboard when humans do what humans unfortunately do: mess up. Here's another spicy truth. The presence of scandals actually proves the church's divine nature. How? Because after 2,000 years of human failures, wars, corrupt leaders, and that one pope who dug up his predecessor to put him on trial, oh, looking at you, Stephen VI, the church is still here. If this were just a human institution, we would have gone the way of blockbuster video centuries ago. Think about it, the church has survived. The fall of Rome, the empire, not the city. The Dark Ages, not just my mom's opinion of my teenage fashion choices. The Black Death, way worse than your average flu season. Multiple invasions, more than my aunt's attempts to set me up on blind dates. Corrupt leaders, more than your average season of reality TV. The entire 1970s church architecture phase, arguably the worst of all. And we're still here. That's not human endurance. That's divine protection with a side of you can't stop God's plan. So next time someone brings up scandals as their reason for leaving, remind them you don't abandon your mother because some of your siblings messed up. You stay, you fight for better, you pray harder, and you remember that the church isn't a museum for saints. It's a hospital for sinners. And thank God for that, because I've checked my own record and saint isn't exactly on my current resume. 2. The Papacy, more than just fancy hats. Now for the main event, the Papacy. The Orthodox are like all bishops are equal, but scripture's giving us some pretty obvious hints here. It's time for the ultimate leadership breakdown. Picture this. Jesus looks at Simon and says, "You're Peter," which means rock, "and on this rock I'll build my church." That wasn't just a divine dad joke. It was Jesus basically handing Peter the cosmic admin privileges. It's like getting promoted from user to system administrator, but for the entire church. And those keys Jesus mentioned, and not the kind you lose in your couch cushions. In Isaiah 22:22, keys symbolize the authority of the prime minister under the king. So when Jesus gave Peter the keys to the kingdom, he wasn't setting him up as a divine valet. He was making him his prime minister on earth. That's a promotion bigger than going from intern to CEO overnight. The Orthodox reject the Pope's authority, but let's be real. Trying to run the universal church without a universal head is like trying to run Netflix with everyone having equal power to choose what shows get made. Since the Great Schism of 1054, they haven't had one ecumenical council. Not one. Meanwhile, the Catholic Church is dropping councils like Marvel drops movies, consistently and with clear direction. Want to see what church without papal authority looks like? It's like that episode of The Office when Michael and Jim were co-managers. Funny to watch, chaos to live through. Or imagine a football team where every player is the quarterback. Sure, everyone's equal, but good luck winning the Super Bowl. But here's the thing, the Pope isn't some spiritual dictator sitting on a throne sending out divine tweets. He's more like the team captain who ensures everyone's playing the same game with the same rule book. The papacy is servant leadership with a side of awesome heads. Think about it. When there's a worldwide debate about faith or morals, Catholics know exactly where to look for the final answer. The Orthodox, it's like asking for directions and getting 5 different GPS routes at once. All might be scenic, but which one actually gets you home? And let's address the power corrupts crowd. Yes, we've had some popes who were about as holy as a pizza box. But here's the theological mic drop. The Pope's authority doesn't come from his personal holiness, thank heavens, but from Christ's promises to Peter. It's like how your GPS still works, even if the satellite engineer had a bad day. 3. Apostolic succession, the original influencer chain. Both Catholics and Orthodox have apostolic succession, but we got the receipts for Peter's primacy, like your mom keeps receipts from 1987. Let's break down this historical tea. First up, the early church fathers. These guys were like the original Christian influencer, and they were all about Rome's authority. Saint Ignatius of Antioch, he called the Roman Church the president of love. Not just another nice church, the president. That's like getting verified on all social media platforms at once. Saint Irenaeus came in with the historical receipts. He basically made a list of all the popes from Peter to his time, like the world's most epic LinkedIn connection chain. He said, if you want to know the true faith, just look at what Rome teaches. That's some serious clout. And let's talk about Saint Clement of Rome. This chap wrote a letter to Corinth while some of the apostles were still alive, and the Corinthians actually listened. Imagine being so authoritative that people in another country's church are like, yeah, we better do what Rome says. That's not just authority, that's super authority. But wait, there's more. Even the Eastern saints were jumping on the Rome train. Saint Maximus, the confessor, an Eastern saint, mind you, was out there defending Rome's authority like it was the last PS5 in stock. He literally said, Rome has never fallen away from the faith, and called the Roman Church the sun of the universe. And this guy wasn't even from Rome. That's like having your competitor write your 5-star review. Here's the spicy part. During the early church councils, guess whose opinion everyone waited for? Rome's. It's like when your group chat is waiting for that one friend who actually knows what they're talking about before making plans. The Orthodox model sounds nice. All bishops are equal. But it's like saying all Instagram accounts are equal. Sure, technically true, but we all know some have more influence than others. In practice, their model has led to more splits than a gymnastics competition. Meanwhile, the Catholic Church keeps that unbroken chain from Peter straight to Pope Francis, smoother than your favorite playlist transition. Each pope, despite being as human as that awkward photo of you from middle school, carries the same authority Jesus gave to Peter. Think about it. When early Christians had beef, and boy did they have beef, they didn't write to all equal bishops everywhere. They wrote to Rome. That's like skipping customer service and going straight to the CEO. They knew where the real authority was. 5. Diversity in unity, the ultimate crossover episode. The Catholic Church is like the Marvel universe of Christianity. Lots of different characters, same epic story. But let's dive deeper into this theological treasure chest because it's way cooler than you might think. First off, let's talk about what we got in the Catholic Family album. Roman Rite, that's like the original iPhone classic, widely used, gets the job done beautifully. Byzantine Rite, coming in with those ancient vibes and incense game stronger than your grandmother's perfume. Maronite Rite, bringing that Middle Eastern flavor that'll make your regular mass look like plain vanilla. Syro Malabar, rocking traditions that go back to the time when Thomas the Apostle was doing his thing in India. And about 20 more. We've got more legitimate varieties than your local coffee shop's menu. Here's the mind-blowing part. All these different rites are 100% Catholic. Same faith, different flavors. It's like having a streaming service where every show is awesome but in its own unique way. We're not just talking about different languages or music styles. We're talking about ancient traditions that go back centuries, each preserving their own awesome way of worshiping God. Meanwhile, Orthodox churches split more times than my attempts at a New Year's diet. Let's break it down. Greek Orthodox, they're doing their thing. Russian Orthodox, different jurisdiction. Ukrainian Orthodox, standalone franchise. Serbian Orthodox, another separate operation, and the list goes on longer than a CVS receipt. The problem isn't their traditions, they're beautiful. The issue is that these churches often operate like separate spiritual countries. It's like having a family where everyone lives in different houses, has different house rules, and only get together for major holidays. Maybe. But here's where the Catholic Church drops the theological mic. We've figured out how to be different without being divided. Eastern Catholic churches have their own liturgical traditions, way different from your Sunday Mass. Canon law, yes, they have their own legal system. Spiritual practices, different fasting rules, prayer traditions, you name it. Married priests, plot twist, this is totally allowed in Eastern Catholic churches. Church architecture, because one style definitely does not fit all. Sacred music, more varieties than your Spotify playlist. And yet, here's the kicker, we're all united under one shepherd, one pope, one faith. It's like having the world's biggest family where everyone keeps their cultural identity, but still knows who's hosting Christmas dinner. Want to see this in action? You can go to a Maronite Divine Liturgy in the morning, a Roman Mass at noon, and a Ukrainian Catholic Divine Liturgy in the evening. And guess what? You've just hit the Catholic trifecta, all valid, all Catholic, all awesome in their own way. The Orthodox model unfortunately often creates what I call the spiritual gated communities effect. Each church becomes so tied to its ethnic identity that it's like trying to join an exclusive club where your last name determines your membership eligibility. But the Catholic Church, we're out here like the ultimate spiritual United Nations, minus the bureaucratic deadlock. We've got African liturgical traditions that'll make your regular church choir look like amateur hour. Asian Catholic communities blending ancient Eastern wisdom with Catholic truth. Latin American expressions of faith that put your local fiesta to shame. European traditions older than most countries, and they're all playing for the same team. This isn't just diversity for diversity's sake, it's the fulfillment of Christ's prayer that they may all be one. We're not talking about a boring, one-size-fits-all uniformity. We're talking about a unity that's richer than your aunt's Christmas pudding and more diverse than your Instagram feed. So why be Catholic? Because we've got what Jesus actually ordered, not the knockoff version. The papacy isn't just some ancient relic like your grandma's flip phone, it's the original divine game plan for church unity. Look, the Orthodox Church is like that cool cousin we love but don't live with. They've got amazing traditions, but we've got the full package deal, the structure, the unity, and yes, the really cool hats. Thanks for hanging out with Supreme Catholic Meme. Smash that like button harder than Martin Luther nailed his complaints to that door. Drop your thoughts in the comments, subscribe, and hit that bell so YouTube actually tells you when we upload or looking at you algorithm. Pax Vobiscum, God bless, and see you next time. Deus vult et Dominus Illuminatio mea.